Now I thought the lefties loved their gardens and loved their trees. Well, I guess they do, but just not as much as they love charging their cars. That's right, welcome back to the bit of truth for a terrible Thursday. I just hope the eco-hypocrites just haven't ruined it for you yet. Now, speaking of the eco-hypocrites, electric car owners aim to get rid of their gardens in order to charge their EVs. Yes, why have a front garden when you can use your electric car with your lithium batteries and drive out to the forest? Nearly half of UK homeowners are considering getting rid of the green space in front of their homes in order to accommodate electric vehicles. Well done to the woke who have completely lost their little hypocritical minds.
You're bigger idiots than I thought.
Now, speaking of the woke, you know, that weird radical group that likes to cancel everything. Well, Reading Festival now bans clothing which promotes cultural appropriation. Yes, let's start implementing dress codes to places where people just take off their clothes after popping Tic Tacs and overheating. What I find ironic in this one is there appeared to be no knowledge of this whatsoever, as they had multiple stalls set up on site selling Native American ponchos and Tibetan shawls. Why don't the organisers of this event stop creating rules that even they can't follow and start by looking at ways to stop creating mountains of rubbish, actual rubbish, not the rubbish coming out of their mouths.
Correct.
Now, in more rubbish, GP surgeries are to be paid more if they let patients choose which doctor to see. Are we taking a piss? Choice in doctors. We're lucky if we can see any doctor. I mean, look at this graph. Choice of doctors. I'd be happy if they chose just to get off strike and did their jobs. Choice of doctors. Good one.
That's exactly the answer I wanted.
And more in healthcare. Sorry, I'm still laughing from that last one. NHS hospitals are accused of erasing women after signing up to be graded by trans charities. Oh yes, well done to the NHS. Let's give you a rainbow badge for continuing to insult real women. Dozens of hospitals across the UK have signed up to be graded by trans charities, which will mark them down for using words such as mother and woman. Well, bottom marks for me, because my mother is a wonderful woman. They are also getting rewarded for gender-neutral toilets and asking patients about their pronouns. Now, if you could only stop wasting thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds on woke diversity officers, you might actually have enough to update some of your ambulances.
Again, a good point.
Now, speaking of insults to women, a trans teacher with Z-cup breasticles claims they are real and due to a hormone sensitivity to estrogen. Yes, of course they are. I mean, look at them. They look so natural, even for someone with an outie between their legs. Now, if they were real, why were you seen walking around without them? People like this are just craving attention. Look at me, look at me. It's either that, or they're just waiting for people to disagree with them. And then the government pays out in compensation in form of a lump sum. Now, speaking of fakers and jelly wobblers, a fake plastic surgeon who performs surgeries, who was also pretending to be British, flees jail. Yes, this Italian national and school dropout was sentenced to 3 years and 10 months behind bars. But he said, fuck that, and fled to Hong Kong. Yes, this man was accused of operating in 5 clinics and on 28 people without any medical qualifications. Not only is this man a complete idiot, but I don't think any of the clinics that hired him are really the sharpest scalpels in the operating room.
You're all fucking morons!
Now, speaking of criminals and sharp objects, the number of knife thugs escaping prison more than doubles in a decade. Yes, well done to the judge jokers yet again, after some 4,800 offenders got suspended sentences compared to 2,200 back in 2013. Well, who would have thought that being so lenient on sentences of carrying knives would actually result in more people carrying knives? Judges, have you actually heard of the word deterrent?
I don't know what that means.
Now, in more crimes, we have a serial burglar who robbed houses across the UK finally snagged by an Apple AirTag. Yes, well done to the police yet again, who couldn't arrest a serial burglar and was only caught when an Apple AirTag was unknowingly left inside of a bag, which was stolen by this loser. So Dinkag, a very English man with a very English name, stole at least £800,000 from 3 burglaries and received 6 years in jail. So out in 3. £800,000 for 3 years. I think I'm in the wrong business.
Fucking outrageous.
Now, speaking of houses, villagers say that they were blindsided and wanted to sell up after the council announced its plans to move refugees into new homes. Yes, these lovely homes, which any hard-working Brit probably couldn't afford in 5 lifetimes, which are being sold for up to £720,000, are now going to be given to Dover discoverers, again, paid for by the neighbours. What about the local families who are on the housing list? You know, the ones sleeping in old mould-ridden flats? Oh, forget about them. We need to house people fleeing from terror first.
This is bullshit!
Now, in more councils wasting money, you remember I showed you the ludicrous idea from the French to paint the wiggly lines all over the road. Well, it turns out we have the same wiggly lines on the road too. And it ran out more than £1 million over budget to install. Ugh. So North Somerset Council was given over £430,000 in order to improve things like the promenade and the public transport. But the local pen pushers at the council were like, no. We are going to allocate £201,000 for this stupid idea, and then ended up spending £1.4 million on it. Excuse me for 1 second, I just need to decide whether to cry or scream into a pillow.
Oh, fucking hell.
Now, speaking of money in the cost of living crisis, a pint of beer is now being sold for £9 in London's West End. Wow. What did I say? The £10 pint is coming to a boozer near you. It's no wonder why so many pubs are opening and closing on the same day, and I'm not talking about their operating hours. Look at this. Look at this. The average pint of beer has doubled in the short space of 15 years. And we aren't talking about those exotic craft beers that the hipsters drink. We're just talking about draft beer. This needs to be stopped, or else we can say goodbye to having anything social.
Unfucking believable.
Now, speaking of stopping things, at least the Nevada Rangers know how to stop the bullshit. They aren't having any of it, and they plough their truck straight through an Extinction Rebellion protest after they tried to block the road. Bravo to these officers! Can we employ them over here? We need them quite frequently in the capital. You see, UK police, if you're not going to stop the hard criminals, can you at least learn on how to stop the eco-morons from giving the public the finger?
Nope.
And finally, speaking of fingers, here is what the length of your fingers reveals about your health. Oh yes, brilliant. Thank you very much. Well, I know a few people I'd like to show my large middle one to.
Quite a few times.
50 times?
More.
100 times?
More.
Right, so what have we learnt today? The eco-morons are still hypocrites. Everything needs to be cancelled unless you're selling it. If you carry a knife, you're less likely to go to jail than if you were to speak mean words. The government are still a complete joke, and a pint of beer is worth more than you are per hour. Signing out.